The movie begins in an orphanage on a stormy night. When a boy wakes up to the scary sound of thunder and lightning, he runs to the kitchen, where he is scared by the shadow of an old man. The old man, whose name is Remy, sits them down in a living room and tells them a story about his childhood. As the old man tells the story, the movie moves to a small French village where Remy lives with his mother. Remy's favorite thing in the world is his cow, Rosette. He lives happily with his mother, but things start to go wrong when they get a letter from Remy's father. Jerome had an accident at work and was sued. In order to pay the lawsuit money, Remy's mother has to send all of their savings and even sell Remy's cow, Rosette, which is their main source of income. Remy is heartbroken to have to give his cow to a cruel neighbor who often beat Jerome has suddenly come back from Paris. He's angry and broke after losing his trial, and he's not happy to see the boy. He starts to scold his wife for keeping the boy at their house, saying that he's too much of a burden now that they're poor. Remy starts writing letters to his foster mother about his life on the road. He also learns that Vitalis used to be a great violinist. As time goes on, he and Vitalis continue to play for aristocrats. One day, they get a chance to play on a small river ship for the birthday of the owner's daughter. There, Remy meets Lise, who is in a wheelchair because of a rare condition called coxalgia. The two kids become fast. Vitalis is taken away, and Remy stays at Lisa's. While Vitalis is in prison, Remy stays at Lisa's. Remy and Lisa's friendship grows stronger as Remy becomes the sick girl's main source of help. Remy also tells Lise about his past by showing her the blanket he was wrapped in when he was found as an infant by his foster father. Vitalis comes back after a long time, and Remy gets off the riverboat right away to give him a tight hug. Lisa's mother invites Vitalis to lunch and tells him that she wants to keep Remy so that he can be a personal butler for her daughter. When Vitalis hears this, he knows that it would give Remy a stable life, but he wants Remy to learn more about the world, so he tells Lisa's mother that it's Remy's choice to stay or leave with him, as expected. Remy decides to go with his master, but he has a hard time saying goodbye to Lise. He promises that he will see her soon. In the next scene, Vitalis and his troupe are touring France as they sing, dance, and perform. However, tragedy strikes when they are attacked by wolves in the woods and Lovely Heart is killed. They spend the night at a nearby inn, where the doctor tells them that Lovely Heart doesn't have long to live. Vitalis decides to put on a show in the hopes that the hotel guests will give them something as a reward later that night. Vitalis plays the violin and shows off his amazing skills. His audience applauds him proudly, and he is able to make some money while he and Remy are collecting their silver shillings. A young woman walks up to them and tells Vitalis that his performance reminded her of a show she saw as a child with a famous violinist. Vitalis realizes that the woman may have guessed who he really is. Vitalis tells her that he is just a performer who has learned some skills from famous people. The woman doesn't seem to believe him, but she leaves a gold coin for them. Remy is thrilled to have gotten the gold coin and goes to his room on the second floor to show it to Lovely Heart. Unfortunately, Lovely Heart has already died from his illness. Remy, Vitalis, and Copy are getting ready to leave the inn when they get a letter addressed to Remy. The letter is from Lise, who says that her mother found Remy's blanket cloth. This material is only owned by the aristocracies of London, so Lise wrote to her friends to try to find Remy's parents. A barrister named James Milligan replied that he knows Remy's parents. Remy jumps for joy when he finishes reading the letter, and he, his master, and Copy leave right away to meet James Milligan. In the next scene, our heroes are sitting in a meeting with the barrister, who looks at Remy's blanket cloth and confirms that he is the child he was looking for. James tells Remy and Vitalis that Remy is the long-lost son of the Dorsal family. The barrister then takes the two to Remy's supposed family home, where Remy meets his parents, who are overjoyed to see him. Later, the Dorsals reveal that Remy was taken away as an infant by a woman who wanted to get back at them. Apparently, Mr. Dorso was having an affair with the woman, but when she found out he was married and his wife, Vitalis doesn't believe the story much because Remy's foster father said he saw a man, not a woman, put the baby in the coffin. Mr. Dorsal doesn't say anything for a while, but James says that the man could be a partner. Vitalis and Remy then bid a bitter farewell to each other before he's sat tended by James's carriage. The S barrister provides some money to Vitalis S for caring for Remy. All this time, once /'s master is gone, Remy goes up to his room and cries bitterly. In the middle of the night, he wakes up because water is dripping from the ceiling. He grabs a lantern and goes outside, where he sees that it has slowly started to snow. Remy looks around his new house, but nothing feels right. He opens a cupboard and sees something horrifying: gold-plated human teeth and many watches that look like they were stolen from other people. Remy figures out quickly that the Dorsals aren't his real parents, so when he tries to run away, Mrs. Dorsal shows up just in time to scare the poor child with a nightmare. Remy makes it to the front door, but James and his men stop him. Remy tells James and his men that the Dorsals aren't his family, but James seems to already know this, so he shoves the boy inside while he and his men wait outside for the job to be done. Mrs. Dorsal tells her husband to kill the boy because that's what James Milligan told them to do. As Mr. Dorsal raises a hammer to hit the boy, Vitalis, his dog Copy, and Remy arrive just in time to save Remy, and Cape grabs the Dorsal's son by the neck. Vitalis knocks Mr. Dorsal out and demands to know what's going on. It's then revealed that James Milligan is Remy's real uncle and is due an inheritance since Remy's biological father died. When he found out that Remy was still alive, he didn't want to risk losing the inheritance, so he told the Dorsals to kill the child. However, this wasn't the first time James had ordered to kill Remy. 10 years ago, he was the same man who Remy falls ill /son. The way Vitalis manages to carry his little boy as he shields them through a snowstorm. The pair along with Copy take /sa rest near a shed for the night, but health Vitalis is also worsening the next morning. Remy wakes up in his master's arms, but when he tries to wake up Vitalis, he doesn't move. In the next scene, Remy starts to cry, which alerts some nearby security guards. Remy wakes up and finds himself wrapped in a warm blanket. He looks around and sees a woman standing next to him. She asks about his health and tells him that Remy's master didn't make it. He is devastated. Remy starts crying again because the master was the only family he had left. The woman tells her servants to take good care of the boy, and she goes outside to find James Milligan in her living room. It turns out that the woman is Mrs. Milligan, Remy's biological mother, but she doesn't know that Remy is her son /not surprisingly. James doesn't reveal the boy's identity and demands to take him away. Mrs. Milligan informs him that the boy can only be taken once he's back on his feet. Meanwhile, one of the servants goes through Remy's belongings and finds a spopper. She shows it to Mrs. Milligan and this is when Mrs. Milligan learns the truth about her son Remy later wakes up and visits Mrs. Milligan, who confronts him about his spas. The paper she found earlier had a song lyric that Mrs. Milligan's mother would sing to her when she was a child sand. When she had Remy, she too would sing the song to him as a lullaby. It turns south that Remy somehow had the song engraved in his mind unconsciously, and would sing it when he performed with his master and the troupe. The mother and son finally embrace with a tight hug. The movie then shifts back to the present as the now old Remy finishes telling his story to the children. They inquire about what happened to his uncle James Milligan. Remy says that his uncle was taken in by the police and then left in England. Vitalis was given a proper funeral, and Remy went to see his foster mother. After his foster father Jerome died, she moved in with Remy. With the help of his foster mother, he opened an orphanage where the current children live. In the last scene of the movie, we also learned that Remy eventually married Liz, and they still live together with the orphans.